What's up guys, Clearance Aisle back with another installment of How to Survive the Top 20. The video series where I let you guys know what's going through my head as I managed to grab another win in Fortnite. What's up guys, Clearance Aisle back today with a 14 bomb from day 1 of season 3. I encountered this guy at these rocky steps, and because he was running away from me and I had the drop on him, I went ahead and stood perfectly still and crouched so that I could have the best accuracy possible. I definitely suggest you doing that in any situation where you've got the drop and you've got some time to take to set up your shots. I put a rocket on this guy. He ends up running away from his structure. And anytime I'm in a situation like that where I'm on the other side of a tree and somebody's going to run around it, I go ahead and jump out to try to get that first shotgun shot on him. In my experience, I've noticed that most players, when you're running around a tree in a shotgun fight, they typically don't jump away from the tree. They just kind of run around and peek. So, yeah, I would suggest jumping to get that first shot because we all know in shotgun battles, usually the person to land the first shot, if everybody's hitting every shot, is going to be the winner. Now, the last guy just started rushing straight at me. I was able to get a shotgun shot on him. I pulled out the AR to put a couple rounds in him because I realized that he was, probably a little too far for the shotgun to be the appropriate weapon there. So once he ran around the tree, though, I used an impulse grenade to bounce him behind me. And really, I think the reason I won that fight was because that impulse grenade was unexpected, disoriented him, so I was able to get the kill. I heard the supply drop coming in. When I went on the other side of the rock, I saw somebody trying to take it, so I put a rocket down, hoping to get some damage on him, and I was able to. You can see that he starts building up there. So I'm going to go ahead and build up on this structure, and I love doing this in any fight where I'm on the other side of a building from somebody. I just like building up on top of it because this structure has way more health than any structure that I could build personally. I tried taking out some of his walls at the top. He was just building them back, so I switched strategies and decided just to take out the base of his fort. He used some impulse nades to get behind me, and I was able to take him out with just a couple of shotgun blasts there. And he was definitely able to get some mini shields off while he was in the base, but I think the pressure that I kept up really prevented him from getting off too many heals. I think he was able just to get off one mini shield. So I think the key to that elimination was just keeping up the pressure. I push up to the top of this mountain because part of the new circle is here. Plus, I want to use the height advantage here to try and figure out where the remaining players are at. I end up in a rocket launcher battle, and we've already done a little bit of fighting here. He's on top of the house, and I'm going to go ahead and build up and just put some defensive walls up to battle his rockets. He started ramping up, and I was able to take out the first ramps. He keeps building them back, and it's about this time I realized he's not a very aggressive player because if I were him, I probably would have pushed one more ramp and just dove in on me. But I have gotten some damage on him, so he's probably weak, probably thinking that it's not the best idea. I started getting pinched from the south, so I put some walls up, and you notice that I'm switching between threats. The guy at the house is not a current threat to me. He's playing passively, so while the guy from the south is engaging me, I'm just putting up my defensive walls, which gives the guy I was fighting back to the north time to build up, which is actually a mistake on his part because I was able to get a rocket into his little 1x1. I know he's super weak now, so I push hard onto his ceiling, pull out the AR, which does a lot of structural damage. I bust out his ceiling and just continue to fire because I know where he's at. And since the new circle has moved so far away from where I currently am, I'm just going to bust out a launch pad and go ahead and disengage from this fight and reset. I've built up a little steel fort here because I have plenty of steel. I see a guy building up next to me and put a rocket into the back of his fort versus trying to go for that direct structural hit. Anytime you've got any explosives, grenade launcher, hand grenades, or a rocket, and you've got somebody who's left the top of their fort exposed like that, just put that explosive into the back of the base, and it's going to do all of its damage to the player because it's such a confined space. I checked back on top of the hill where that guy was engaging me earlier that I sort of disengaged from. I was able to get some nice AR shots on him, so I pull out a rocket and then pull out my AR to try to bust up any walls he might put up defensively to block that rocket. I decided to put a rocket on the other side of this tree. Not sure why. Looking back, I may have heard somebody. And then I noticed that this guy is going for my launch pad. And I don't have great eyes on him. But I decided to take out the launch pad. And I believe I was a little late. I heard that distinct glider sound. So I put a trap inside of my fort in case he tries to dive straight on me. But he landed there to the southwest. So I just put another test rocket out there. I see a rocket coming in from the north, so I put out a lead rocket, thinking they're probably going to push to the right, but nothing happens. And now I'm getting pinched from all angles. People are trying to take out my structure, so I don't hesitate to get out of there. I just jump out with a floor, look straight down, and use a floor to cushion my fall on the way down. Definitely a technique that I recommend. The guy from the north that was rocketing me tries to take out this fort, but I'm there with a rocket to take him out, and I go ahead and take this chug jug to get back up to full. I'm all healed up, and I've looted all of the players that have been eliminated in this area. I noticed that my old steel fort is actually positioned in the new circle, and the storm's about to come in, so I go ahead and build up in that because I'm not sure where the remaining players are. You see me check that tree thinking that there may be a storm rider here in the late game, which you get a lot of. I heard some shots to the southwest and noticed a guy jump out of a tree. I'm not sure how he survived because I did check the kill feed and didn't see anybody not stick to landing. Kill feed is super crucial in the late game. There's a lot of information you can glean by just listening and checking the kill feed. He's pushing up to the mountain, and I'm trying to get some damage on him. I get some splash damage on him there, and I've been really itching for an impulse grenade kill, but I make a big mistake here and actually end up falling out of my fort and got incredibly lucky because the impulse grenade intended for the enemy actually cushioned my fall. That's probably the luckiest I've ever been in Fortnite. At this point, I'm panic building, and the other players are building as well. So my strategy is just to keep building and try and get shots in when I can. So I build up here, and instead of boxing myself in, I heard somebody close to me, so I'm going to try and get a rocket on them and end up switching targets there. So I finish my fort. I see this guy rushing. I'm able to get a rocket onto him, and I see the last remaining player jump to where the ramp that I had just blown out. But I'm not sure exactly where he is now. There's a lot of structures he could be hiding under, so I take a second just to reload and reset. I put a test rocket at the bottom of this structure hoping to find him, and when I don't, I decide that I'm going to push actually down a little bit. I don't want to push all the way down and be just on his level. I want a little bit of height advantage, so I just build back up a little bit and hear him building underneath me. I turn, he's building straight right next to me. I get an easy rocket kill there. If I were him in that position, he probably should have turned and built a wall in between me and him, and he actually could have gotten lucky and I could have rocketed myself. Just want to point out how crucial rockets are in the end game, and especially to today's victory. Rockets, grenade launchers come from supply drops quite often, so my tip would be to push supply drops and to push players that have gotten supply drops so you can get some explosives for the late game. I appreciate the view today, guys. I really appreciate all the great comments and encouragement on my last video. I do stream sometimes on Twitch. It's actually how I capture my console gameplay. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below if you want to follow me on Twitch and try to catch some live gameplay. But thanks again for the view today, and I'll see you next time.